One.
Later.
Hello. Hello. Hello, everyone. Three minutes more. Hello, Mr. Rameshwar. Are you online? Hello, everybody. Change in learning pattern. Hello. 1 minute to go. 6:59. So today's chapter is change in learning pattern. Okay. Watching now. Okay, good. Irfan Diwan joined. Okay. Hi, Irfan. Okay, where to start? Now, yes, exactly 7. Good evening, everyone. So today we're expecting Mr. Rameshwar is yet to join. Mr. Tokla Venkata Nagamani. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, well, today here we are expecting Mr. Rameshwar. He'll be telling you about the change in learning pattern. Yeah, well, today here we are. Hello, Mr. Rameshwar, can you unmute? Hello.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. So let me give you. Let me introduce you to the audience first of all. I was just waiting.
Right.
So
Oh, sorry.
yeah, thanks for being on time. I think the first person was Mr. Irfan, who was online.
Okay.
Yeah. So well,
Thank you. I mean, it's my privilege to be here. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, well, my name is Anuradha Shri, and I'm a coach for career communication. And today we have as a guest Mr. Rameshwar, who is CEO and a founder of Skill Monks. And his today the main motto of coming here is that is going to tell you about the change in learning pattern. Am I right, Mr. Rameshwar?
Yeah, that's very much correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Could you please introduce more about you? It would be nice if you proceed further.
So, I couldn't get it actually. I think I missed out.
You can proceed further to introduce
Sure.
more about you.
Okay. Thank you, Anuradha. Thank you for inviting me for this session. Okay, glad to be here and glad to share my views on what's happening in the learning industry or the skilling industry. Okay, myself, all of you, who else is there? I mean, like, okay, hi everyone. I'm Rameshwar Manali and I'm founder of Skill Monks. Okay, Skill Monks, we started with a vision to create, I would say, education Amazon story. Okay, the whole idea is to ensure that uh, people make informative decisions when they are going for a particular career, because the problem in India is 70% of the youth which is coming out of the colleges. Which is actually a big number. I mean, 8 million graduates come out every year in India right now. Of which nearly like 50, 60 lakh people have confusion which career to opt for and all that. So our motto is to help them in the career discovery, and after that, we help them in getting connected with the quality training partners. Okay, because a wrong choice, wastes a couple of years for these students, which are like the most fruitful years of their careers. So we don't, because, and this is like stamp for their lifetime. Once the college gets over, what they get is not for 1 year or 2 years. I can change my career. Maybe in my childhood I might be interested in maths, and maybe in plus two I might be interested in by PC. But once you choose your career, I don't think it's not going to be easy for anyone to change it so easily. 98% stick to their. So what we believe is this is like stamp for life. So people need to make very informative decisions during this age. So considering that, we try to address these two key issues. One is a career discovery part, and choosing his right mentor or the training partner. And today the idea, what we would like to share is what's happening under the COVID. Okay, there are like some tectonic shifts that are happening in the whole learning industry. So we want to address, what's going to happen to the education sector, whether all of it would move to online, or whether online can do that, whether online can replace the classroom or not. Is it so easy? And what learning behaviors people might acquire during this phase. It's like, what happened during the demonetization? During demonetization, many people habituated for, online payments. Now you ask them to carry money, they don't. Okay. So, it's fact that, 80% or 70% of the people move to the online payments during the demonetization. Similar thing might happen if this prolongs, if this COVID lockdowns prolong. Okay, things can happen, which we may not even predict right now. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Anuradha. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Ramesh. It's a long introduction. That's the reason I asked you to speak more about it. I just want to know, Ramesh, because for a decade you were in edtech domain. Can you just tell me something about that?
EdTech domain, you're saying?
Yes, and later you said skill monk. I would like to know even that also.
So, I mean, what we thought was Skillmonks, for example, in the skilling space, we address majorly graduates, freshers, the people who finish their engineering or arts or science degrees, and working professionals. Uh, I mean, okay, maybe to your surprise, working professionals are equally confused about their careers, especially people in the IT industry. Even if they have 10 years of experience in, let's say, testing or SAP and all that, because of the industry 4.2, AI, ML, I mean, blockchain, DevOps, I mean, because of these things, they're also like, okay, in a big, I mean, dilemma, where to go. Because if, I mean, okay, industry 4.0 is fully implemented, people who would lose jobs are people who are in the middle management, or people are drawing like, okay, high amounts and all that. So they're also in a big dilemma where they can get accommodated, okay, if this is going to happen. So what we are doing is, as part of Skillmonks, we have like multiple domains. One is we do something called Tech Talks, where
Okay.
okay, where we invite people from the industry, okay, who are like, okay, playing the roles like in CXO roles or VP roles, just to tell what industry is expecting from the freshers, okay, graduate, so that, I mean, academia gets an understanding of what industry expectations are. Because if you read online, you'll find enough material which says, I mean, students are not industry ready. 95% of the people are not employable. It's not that jobs are not there, but they don't really understand the industry needs. I mean, they read the curriculum, which is like, okay, some 7, 8 year old, and they think they are job ready. That is one of the main reasons. I mean, like, okay, people come to Amirpets of Hyderabad, or Martalis of Bangalore, or Rajendra Nagars and Mukherjee Nagars of Delhi, again looking for skilling in the same courses which they have studied in the college time, be it Java, be it testing, be it I mean, programming language, other programming languages, or aptitude, okay, or communication skills for that matter. Okay, so point is, they don't know what exactly industry is expecting, and they don't make themselves ready for that. They think grades are enough. I mean, I can say grades are not enough at all. It's the skills, okay, functional skills, not even like theoretical skills, but functional skills matter a lot. Okay. Okay, if somebody wants to pursue a career in data science, or somebody wants to become a
I think streaming, I think. Can you please unmute Mr. Rameshwar? I think it's on mute. It's on mute. Yes.
yeah, I'm sorry. I think, okay, the connection got lost. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. I think a few minutes back the connection got lost.
So that is the point. I mean, like, okay, we do various activities. One is, as I said, this tech talks. Then we do something called advisors, where one-on-one counseling we do with the experts who is playing that role. Let's say I want to become a web developer. We will ensure that that kid talks to a, I mean, real web developer, so that he would understand from the real expert whether he fits that career or not. Because generally in the current world, what happens is 80% of the people get counseled by either generic counselors or family friends, or like, okay, some family members saying, hey, you go for this course, that course, and finally when he goes for that course, he doesn't get the job and he stays idle for a year, then he will opt for another course. We want to, I mean, like, okay, we don't want people to waste that fruitful year because of just suggestion by generic people. We want to bring specialists to guide. And the other thing is, our platform is Skillmonks. This is a marketplace where, okay, it's a tech marketplace. It's a beautiful place. Anybody who wants to go for a course, okay, we offer like, okay, you don't need to worry about the quality assurance or other stuff. Or even like when somebody comes to our platform, they get the least fees. Okay. And second thing is, we give the money assurance, quality assurance. So if somebody is unhappy with the course, in 3 days, if there is a ticket, the money would be returned without questions.
Yes, I think I know that. You spoke to me last time about that.
Yeah. And apart from that, we also enable people for skill financing. Let's say if somebody wants to opt for a 3 lakh course, but he doesn't have the money. So we enable them through our skill financing partners. We have partnered with some of the big NBFCs in India.
Okay.
So that's something we do. And there are a lot more things. I mean, SkillMonks is actually, to keep it simple, I would say a learning partner for life, not just for one course or something. Even after joining the job, you keep getting updates related to your domain.
Okay. Mr. Rameshwar, I think now, many industries are hit by this COVID.
Yes.
How about the impact on education sector?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very interesting question, and rather this you brought up so that all the audience can get benefited.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you right now, there are like a lot of, research reports that are coming out. Okay, and a lot of people are working. Okay, even the consulting groups and all are working on what COVID impact would be on various sectors, be it on the jobs, be it on the projects. Okay, or whether some industries can survive or not. All that is happening. For example, the most hard hit industry is hospitality industry.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you are preparing for any job, you need to understand that, how the corona is going to impact that particular industry. Aviation is affected. Then real estate is heavily affected. So now coming to the education has become suddenly the most favorite industry for investors, and businesses, all the places. But when I say that, again, it's online industry, not exactly the classroom brick and mortar business. Brick and mortar business is heavily affected. In fact, 90% of the businesses are down now. Some 10% are able to make a shift to the online. Okay. And other people are in still wait and watch mode, or they are seriously looking for help, saying if there is, because the problem is it's not just about doing a Zoom class. The education sector, especially for the coaching industry or the skilling industry, it's even about lead generation. It's even about operations. Let's say earlier I used to get my, leads maybe through banners and hoardings and all that. Now suddenly, just because of the COVID, I can't do that, or even leaflets. Nobody can distribute. So the people who are heavily depending on such marketing, they are hard hit. Okay. So what they need to do is they need to definitely opt for digital marketing. They should build these capabilities in-house, or at least outsource if they want to survive. Okay. Once I have leads, or once I have, people who are showing interest in my course, the next immediate thing is the sales part, or the counseling part. Even to do that, owner is in Bangalore, and the counselor is in Mysore, or counselor is in some other remote town. Okay. So how do we handle that? Okay. Whether owner wouldn't know whether that girl is calling or not, or the counselor is addressing the leads or not. Okay. Or the whether she is how many calls they are making. All that is again a trouble. So people need again these softwares, the cloud softwares, to handle all these operations. Be it the lead management, be it the enrollment management, be it the batch management, be it the finance management, because otherwise it's very difficult for the owners to track anything. They will go, completely in an inefficient manner, which can, I'm just giving an example. Sometimes it's better to keep the business closed rather than opening. If you are doing, under capacity story. Under capacity can create higher expenses. Okay. So the point is they need to adapt to these new softwares and all that. Okay. There are plenty of softwares. In fact, we also offer good number of softwares for making people to go online. Then the third thing comes the delivery, be it Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Google Class, anything. But as I said, as long as you don't have the backward linkage to the lead management, finance management, and enrollment management such softwares, it's difficult to operate. You can't fully utilize your delivery capabilities. Okay, so that's the third thing. Okay, people are suffering with in the education sector also. Schools are moving fast because there is no alternative for them. Okay, and schools luckily they don't need to worry about leads much because already there's a pipeline. First class guy will go to second guy will go to third. So that problem isn't there for them. So that's the thing. Education industry, especially the coaching and skilling industry must move online with all the capabilities. If they are thinking only delivery, it may not help. Delivery can only solve 50% of the problem. But the digital marketing capabilities and as I said, operations, digital operations, and also even the digital feedback systems they need to build so that they can survive or they can sail through this. And in fact, I'll tell, it's beautiful to go online because you can break the barriers. You don't need to worry about catering to only, I mean, like Hyderabad or Bangalore or Delhi students. You can go global also. Okay, you can serve, I mean, African students or American students or European students. There is no barrier. And so that's the beauty. I mean, like the online is one way it's a great use because even a person in a remote area can access the best trainer in the country.
So do you say online delivery is the future for education sector now?
I say, I mean, it's not, I mean, definitely it's going to be complementary thing for all the classroom thing, because I will just give a small example. Though, yes, online is going to supplement the classroom thing in a big way now, unlike earlier, but it cannot replace in certain domains. In certain domains, it can replace, but in certain domains, it cannot. The very best example is wherever some practicals are involved. Okay, it's not easy. Okay, the kid must be there with the mentor so that he can closely guide him. And there are limitations when it comes to online training in terms of the batch sizes. That is also another problem. More than anything, I mean, I'll say online classes were there since even 2005-06, actually speaking. But okay, in India, we don't have so many Ekavyas who can learn on their own. Okay, it's like motivation. It needs a lot of motivation to learn on their own, just watching a video without a mentor. So what happens is, the mentors, why we can't replace that system is when a mentor is there, he's not just teaching. He's identifying the talent. He's identifying the weakness of the gray areas of that particular student, and he's able to guide them. He's able to customize, the learning needs of that kid or the working professional or the student, and he's able to address that. But in online, what happens is that's very difficult. Okay. In online, I mean, we focus on delivery more than understanding who is a great kid or who is like weak kid and all that. That's very difficult. So, and when you do it on like 50, 60 students, it's not even possible at all. Okay. So that is one of the things. Okay. And the other thing is the structured learning. Okay. Online, again, two versions are there. One is recorded videos and the other one is structured approach. For example, I opted for Lynda when Lynda was there. Lynda, which is acquired by LinkedIn. Later, LinkedIn got acquired by Microsoft. So Lynda used to offer a license for 25,000 rupees a year, learn whatever courses you want. I bought licenses, but I never undergone the courses because these were recorded videos. I will have the belief that, okay, I can watch sometime, not today. Okay. But in case of structured live classes, what happens is there is cycle which happens. There is a time when faculty comes. There is a structured approach to the whole learning that brings discipline into the whole learning system. So even now, recorded sessions, yes, they are helpful, but live is even more helpful. And on the top of it, okay, if you are having a mentor whom you can meet, nothing beats it. So, but as I mentioned, the peculiar advantages of online classes is, one is access. Let's say why I should restrict myself to a teacher in my town. Okay, when I can access the best trainer in the country in Delhi or New York or somewhere. Let's say I want to undergo film editing. I can access the course of masterclass. Why do I need to restrict to my local trainer? That is one thing. And the second thing is, in case of the recorded videos, let's say some students are different. I mean, even if they have doubts, they don't declare that in the class. They don't ask the faculty. I mean, like, let's say maybe they will ask one time, not a couple of times. But the beauty with online classes is they can play the faculty any number of times and any time. They can play him in the night. They can play him in the morning. Whenever they have a doubt, they can watch that video. They can get the things clarified. That is another beauty with the online thing, where recorded sessions, they can learn anytime, anywhere, okay, without any hesitation. So there are like definitely advantages and disadvantages. But as I said,
I have a question, Ms. Rameshwar.
Yeah, please.
Can I ask? Let me check it. Is there any viewer? Do they have any question?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear your question.
Yes. Okay. Now I just want to check it out. Is there anyone who wants some clarification in our talk? No, I have a question. Now you said generally when you go for, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you able to hear me?
I can hear.
Yes. People have to invest money and time.
Yes, true.
That's the first thing what you look out for at this moment. So when you say recorded messages,
Okay.
that sounds more affordable than the structured classes. What do you say for this?
Okay.
Time, like when, as you said, I can watch anytime when they want it, and they can keep watching n number of times. So when it comes to structured classes, that facility is not there. I understand there's a quite disciplined and people. I mean, the trainer can monitor them and all those. What's your take on this? Are you able to hear me? Am I?
I'm sorry. I think okay. The connection is getting disconnected for some reason.
Over
Can
here
you hear
it's
me now?
raining. In Bangalore, it's raining. I don't know about that location.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but now and then I think it's
Fine. So you were talking about the online versus recorded sessions,
yes.
and people are supposed to invest time and money. Yes, I mean they have to. I mean,
That's
okay.
the main. That's
I
the
will,
main content we are, especially like when you say that. That's a benefit of this record message. Looks like it's being recorded. And they can watch n number of times they want it, and they don't miss
true.
classes at them. What is your way of? What's your take on this?
Uh, so money is like okay.
Hello, 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 viewers. I think. Hi, ma'am. How fake gurus is in market and how don't you? Okay, hi, ma'am. Fake gurus in market. How do I identify? Yeah, that's a good question, Mr. Nagam. Thokla Venkata Nagamani. That's really a good question. Really, even if it's an online class, they'll start mentoring. They'll be monitoring you. Nagamani. I don't know how to call you. Srinivas. Okay. They'll be monitoring. After they just don't sell it. They keep monitoring you. They keep checking out how things. Slow connection getting disconnected. Okay. Are you able to hear me, Mr. Srinivas? I understand your question is yes.
Was it problem from my side? The connection was getting lost.
Yeah, I could hear. Like Mr. Tom, here the question is from Mr. Srinivas. He says, "Hi, ma'am. Fake gurus in market. How to identify? If it's an online class, seriously, they just don't sell for anybody, whoever it is. Not only online. When they sell the products, they will give you service. They keep in touch with you. Whether it's online, your structured one, who the trainers are, whoever it is, they check out how their performance is, and now when they keep calling you and they respond to you immediately. That's what even I'm doing. I mean, my trainers, even I'm a mentor. Even we keep checking with them. After the course finish, we do give service. And even I have joined some online classes where my mentor has been supporting me a lot. Anytime I call them, any doubts, they support me. That you can identify. There's no one like if someone is selling the course and let you go, I can't name them as fake guru. It's left to you how you say it. What do you say, Mr. Rameshwar? Am I right? Because for me, online is very new because I'm totally.
Okay. First thing is generally there would be some resistance to anything when we go online. Okay, but I'll tell. I was talking about these behavioral changes, right? Once it happens, I mean, they are not going back to the classrooms. Even the kids, I'll tell kids once they got habituated for the online learning, they feel, why do I need to dress myself and get ready for that? And then I need to travel all the way for 1.5 hours, 1 hour, okay, to the school. Instead, I can use that time also for online learning. So point is, once they get into that luxury, they wouldn't prefer. But at the same time, as I said, okay, there are like areas where there is a need for close mentoring. I mean, okay, that cannot be avoided. And there are certain areas where people don't take up online learning as a replacement. Example, especially when people prepare for jobs, one mark can decide his career. So they just definitely want to have, I mean, classroom because that's psychologically more effective for them. Even in the competitive exams where entrance exams are there. Let's say I want to end up in IIT or NIT or maybe like some local engineering college. So thing is, marks can matter a lot. In such cases also, people take up online as a supplementary thing rather than as a replacement. Okay. But the other thing is, as I mentioned, for people who don't have access, it's already a great tool. Some people are preparing for civil services just using YouTube. Some people are preparing for CAT just using YouTube. And now it's becoming more democratic.
Apareshwar, I don't think that YouTube, it's a bit confusing, quite a bit.
Yes, but I mean, it involves some kind of a research on the student front to identify the right. Yeah, beautiful point. What you raised is like, okay, some people say ki all is available online. I mean, all classes are available on YouTube. But yes, that's not correct also. The reason is some of the trainers even teach wrong concepts in online. And who is there to tell whether that guy is teaching the right concept or the wrong concept? Okay, be it on the, I mean, okay, aptitude, be it on the engineering, be it on the communication or grammar. Okay, sometimes, because in online, what happened is with the YouTube, anybody can publish and anywhere people can publish. So what happens is nobody is there certifying saying, okay, this guy is a real good trainer. Okay. So that causes a very big problem. I totally agree with that. And apart from that, they don't.
What happens is like it's become a fantasy.
Yeah.
So I'm putting on YouTube. Sometimes I feel like half knowledge is dangerous, little bit, and we need to follow proper technique. I mean, a proper mentor, a right person. Even I keep watching lots of YouTubes, especially for my technicals, because I'm a very, very bad in technical. Only this COVID has helped me a lot. I love this corona, to be honest, because I improved a lot during this lockdown. I didn't waste even a single minute. No, I was just utilizing very well because I got lots of gurus to me. I can tell you that technical and online support. Even I'm a trainer, in fact, for communication skills. It's offline, getting into corporate clients directly, speaking schools and colleges. But getting into online, it's little risky for me. Like couldn't convince is a big power. It's a big issue. So I come across many online entrepreneurs. Okay, I just check them, but their teaching of platforms are so different. It takes time for me to get into that. That's a nice question what Srinivas asked, fake gurus and whatever the gurus we call it up. Okay. But you need to work on it. Like what is the support they are giving after sales? Really, when you want to do anything, you have to check out, even if it's online or offline, you need to check, are they giving service for us?
Right. True.
That's a bottom line. Even when you want to register, you can ask them. So, what are your sub? What are you going to give? Then they will really figure out what they are going to. Who's really the trust person, who it is. That is what I do. It. I think you can also do it. I think EdTech has a very good time at this time, isn't it, Rameshwar?
Yeah, true. I mean, EdTech is like okay. I mean, as I said, it has become the favorite among a lot of circles now. Okay, very true.
Here is asking like, what is that? It's unstructured way of learning on YouTube. Okay. Yeah. Can you answer, Mr. Okay.
Yeah, YouTube definitely they need to do a lot of homework in identifying the right videos, and generally people don't keep complete program on YouTube. They keep only teasers kind of story on YouTube.
Seriously, because they'll be sharing their experience or the wisdom, like knowledge. They'll have it. If everything comes on YouTube, I don't think you need to have a proper mentor.
Yeah,
guide who's going to guide you exactly. For example, we can give now example. Ramesh also isn't online, and I'm also into a trainer. When you come to class, you have a proper structured way of teaching. How does it work? Somebody guiding you. When you go on YouTube, okay, you may watch lots of informations, and you will not know what to do. In my case, that's what I get confused. And I get into even if I watch YouTube, I get into proper mentor. Okay, I'll just subscribe that channel which is useful for me. That's my point in this view on.
No, I mean I totally agree. I mean here like okay, there are like positives and negatives for the people who don't have any kind of access. It's a great platform, YouTube. I mean like for people who are in the remote areas, okay, who don't have like for example, somebody who wants to get trained on papercraft. In villages, okay, people are now watching just YouTube and learning papercraft. Okay. Yes. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, otherwise you don't find papercraft training centers in.
Sometimes ladies, we also learn through this. What is that? Through YouTube, like cooking.
Even under COVID, like okay, I mean, like okay, cooking. A lot of bachelors might have learned cooking. so
that's work from home.
Yeah. So the beauty is okay for people who don't have any access. at least first of all, there is like some democratization of knowledge. Okay, it's able to reach everyone now. That is the a big thing that's happening, because it's inclusiveness. For example, otherwise earlier it used to be the knowledge used to be accessible only for some people, but now even MIT lecture is available for a person in the remotest town of the country.
Yeah.
Okay, so at least that first level access is getting created. We should appreciate that through online. And definitely structured learning, nothing beats structured learning. That's why I mentioned in India we don't have so many Ekavyas. Otherwise, okay, there was no need for classroom trainings.
It's a bit tough. I think it's a little difficult to convince people what I feel that. That's what I felt in this past 2, 3 months. I get lots of leads, but conversion takes time. So first, they need to trust us. It takes time. I don't see that I can't overnight doesn't happen. It may take, I mean, whatever class we're doing it, they should understand, and people should judge exactly. It's also people's work. Everything can't be given to them. I hope, Srinivas, we have cleared a doubt. Am I right, Srinivas? Okay. Srinivas, oh my God, big question. Just a thought, not sure. Some time ago, we used to scold children for staying long time on mobile and tabs. Now we are purchasing brand new gadgets. Crazy. It's not crazy. There's no choice now. Now all the schools are running, they want the online classes. So they need to have, I'm not saying gadgets. It's nowadays, some luxury items has become now necessity. At times, fridge was a luxury.
True.
It's become necessity now. So same as even the smartphones, I feel it's not a luxury. It's a gadget.
Okay.
So what are the, so wind up, what do you say about what are the pros and cons of online classes, Mr. Rameshwar?
Sorry, I didn't get that last.
The pros and cons. The
Okay.
positive.
Cons, I mean, I'll just tell, for example, now we are in a very, very tricky situation. The whole India is in a very tricky situation.
Okay.
I mean, though we are talking about online learning, recently we would, I mean, touch with like colleges, schools and all. There were enough kids in India who are still, I mean, not having smartphones or laptops.
Sure.
Okay. For example, schools saying, okay, we are running online classes, but that you are creating a divide. Some kids have access, some kids don't have access. So what happens is there is a clear digital divide that would happen. Okay. Some people may not, some people lag by months of learning. Okay. Because they don't have, I mean, like, okay, the access to broadband or access to the smartphones or laptops. That's one kind of divide. It's happening in the school space and the college space. And the second thing is like, okay, there are other infrastructure issues also. For example, okay, I mean, like, let's say some school is running the classes. Suddenly, some area power cut happened. What happens to those kids for that particular class? Okay, so even such issues are there. And already people are talking about our, I mean, okay, digital infra is not supporting seamless training. Of course, in cities, it's okay. In already cities also, some areas are facing problem. How about the towns? And in India, still 70% of the people live in towns and remote areas, not in cities. Okay. So that is one problem. I mean, I would say the chopper view, I'm saying this is, I mean, like still 70% digital divide is there as far as the learning is concerned. And okay, their access things are concerned. Now, the next thing, pros and cons, we already discussed. One is, okay, first of all, I mean, pros is like, okay, definitely it's creating access to the best teaching talent across the globe. Okay. It's just that you need to do little research and you need to go online and you need to identify who is the best trainer. Okay. That's there. And the second thing is, live classes is one thing and recorded sessions is one thing. For people who are like little hesitant to ask questions or, I mean, ask to repeat, experts to repeat their delivery, at least online plays a very big role because they can overcome that shyness and they can learn anytime. That's the other pro they have. Whereas other thing, as I mentioned, okay, on the negative side, one is, okay, definitely, lack of mentoring. Okay. There is no one to identify. For example, when you are studying under some Nobel laureate, you will get inspired first saying, hey, I can also become Nobel laureate. I'll start preparing that way. And he will also mold them the same way. But as I mentioned, in case of, that online, that personal touch cannot be 100%. Okay. Human touch definitely misses to some extent. Okay. And the other problem is that structured learning, when it's not there, many people always start good, but they don't finish. I mean, many people are good beginners, but they cannot be good finishers when they are like, okay, learning on their own. That's the other problem they would have. Okay, so these are like, okay, the major negatives when it comes to the online learning. And apart from that, in this, I mean, kids space, why people need to stick to the monitors and all that for a long time. The other, like, okay, health benefits and health, I mean, okay, hazards that can be caused with prolonged online learning.
Yes.
That also people need to take into account when it comes to the school kids. Anyway, working professionals and I mean, graduates are somewhat habituated. Okay, so those are like some of the negatives when people go for the online learning. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a few minutes back, I had the same complaint. Okay, what happens? School, they have an online session.
Okay.
They should choose a subject, not everything. Nowadays, music online, then PTs and online, singing online. You know, the stress on the kids.
Yeah,
They
that's there. That's
they
there.
plan exactly. Even I mean, to schools also, like from morning 9 o'clock till 4:30, and sitting in a one space, and I find that still strenuous. Probably they have to focus with the main subjects.
In fact, that is one thing. And second thing, what they need to do is they need to break that monotony. I mean, like generally in online, especially for learning, average view time is 7 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, even for the kids or even for youth, generally because we do binge watching. That's what now people call it. Okay, we jump from one video to another video on YouTube or in the online, anything. So the point here, what they need to do is they have to come up with very, very interesting capsules so that they can be engaged for longer terms.
Okay.
And they need to, I mean, the academics, they need to insert like some extracurricular activities or something else so that kids can stay focused. Otherwise, it's not going to be easy for the kids. Okay. And second thing, when we're talking to the school, some schools complain, saying, I mean, even the parents complain. They say, because with the kids like below fifth standard, even parent needs to sit with them.
Sure.
Okay, so that's as good as now his parent is undergoing the third class or fourth class. Because kids, if by mistake the screen goes off or the Zoom logs out, they don't know how to operate. So automatically parent must involve. Parent is undergoing the third class or fourth class. Because kids, if by mistake the screen goes off or the Zoom logs out, they don't know how to operate. So automatically parent must involve. Parent is undergoing the third class or fourth class.
Actually, yeah, the problem is that the parents, I mean, the Zoom is a new technology, Mr. Ramesh.
If by mistake the screen goes off or the Zoom logs out,
problem.
they don't know how to operate. So automatically.
Okay, I'm sorry. There's some background. I feel because even Zoom is newly introduced. Some technical knowledge, even parents should be aware of it. But we cannot say all the parents should be aware of it.
Right.
Especially Zoom. Zoom is only during this COVID I got into it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And now new one is like today I came to that Google Chat, Google Meet, something.
Yeah, Google
Microsoft
Meet.
Team. Okay, that's all. They say we cannot. Technology just growing like hell. So it's it's so fast, and when you start learning this, the next thing comes in picture. Now they say Cisco, Web Cisco, whatever all is there. In my laptop, I have everything. Skype, Zoom, Google Meet, then Microsoft, whatever you want. Yeah. Because I handle a couple of kids over here. So whatever they're comfortable with, that platform I teach them. I don't want to say, no, come to Zoom only. No, I don't want to stay in them. Again, parents says, no, ma'am, please come. Okay. Because no the option. I cannot expect. But I really appreciate the parents they're getting also updated in this. I think we need to give a training to the parent also. What do you say, Ramesh, about this?
True.
For getting into technology. I think we have answered Mr. Srinivas. He had the same questions. I think he's answered. Okay, fine. Some have joined now. Anyway, I think let's wind up. Mr. Rameshwar, thank you for your valuable time. I think you're so busy today. And you got me up. You just confirmed me at 6:30.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll catch up in another video very soon if any inquiry comes up regarding this, because I need to get back to you again if they have any doubts on this on the video.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for the whole invite, and it's a great conversation. Okay, and so I wish you all the best, whoever are there. Okay,
yes.
In your careers, and stay safe, stay home.
Yeah, be safe. That's what I can tell you. And thank you, viewers. Our video, you can see it later. Thank you, Mr. Rameshwar.
Thank you.
Have a great evening and be safe. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you.